Well, this is going to be the Bulgarian squad here, and you're going to have to ignore my pronunciation of pretty much every single one of these players. So we've got Mihailov in goal. In the left back position, you've got Zenev. We have Ivanov, centre back alongside Nikolov. And in the right back position, we have Manilev. In the centre defensive midfield, as you can see, I'm playing 4-1-2-1-2. We have Georgiev in the left mid position. Again, I'm probably sure all these names are wrong. We've got Tonov of Aston Villa, who's absolutely rapid. That's the only reason I got him in there. In the right mid, we have Piv, who's actually really slow for a winger, but we'll see what we can do with him. In the cam position, we have Popov. And up front with Dimitar Berbatov, we have Hazuov. Now, I don't know much about any of these players. I know the left winger's quick. He's been at Aston Villa. I've not seen him play in real life. I'm just going off his card stats. I know a lot about Dimitar Berbatov. I'm a big fan of Dimitar Berbatov on and off of FIFA. Even on FIFA, okay, he has himself 66 pace, but the guy's an absolute tank. The ball sticks to his feet in real life, and it did on FIFA 13 when I had both of his, I believe he had 2 inform cards, and I'm hoping it does today with his usual card. So as we get into the footage now with Bulgaria, now you'll remember from the first episode when we played Australia, we didn't really play anyone decent and we managed to come away with 3 wins. Now straight away here, we're still in Division 10 I believe, and we come up against this pretty strong Premier League squad. Jovetic and Eto up front with Santi Cazorla in cam, Gerard Cabaye, Jack Wiltshire. It's something I did not want to come up against, and I could not have made a worse start. All it took was literally Eto to run one way and move back the other way, and he got himself clean through. But we'll start talking about the team. Now what I'm going to do is, because as you may have noticed my awful attempts of pronunciating the actual Bulgarian players themselves, it's probably best I just talk about them in a group or as collectives, as in the left back or the right back. So we'll start off with the goalkeeper. Now the goalkeeper for me was honestly pretty shoddy. Now obviously I don't expect him to save the first goal that you see now, the first shot, but I don't really remember him making any sort of saves where I thought at the time, he's kept me in that. He made a decent enough save there, and he's half recovered there where I scrambled this away. But overall, he never really made sort of decent enough saves to stick in the back of my mind, so I couldn't really recommend the goalkeeper. Now the left and right backs were actually generally alright. They were disciplined enough to stay back, which is perfect for what I wanted. I didn't really want to bomb up the pitch just because the centre backs themselves just didn't have sort of any sort of pace to be able to cover. Now don't get me wrong, there was only really one player in this team that had any sort of pace, so with that, it's quite hard to sort of slag off the team. But collectively in the defence, it just, for me, it didn't really click. I seemed to be struggling all the time. And when Jovetic walked straight through me here, which I won't lie, it's just atrocious defending for myself, I found myself in just dire straits because I generally didn't think of any sort of ways I could stay back in the game. Now, okay, Nikolov there, the centre-back, was half decent with his tackling. I mean, if he got you, he would tackle you. But it was just his lack of pace, which I don't like moaning about lack of pace. But it seemed his lack of pace was just sort of the negative for me. And, I generally thought I was going to concede every single time I sort of wasn't on the ball. As you see here, Berbatov steps up to make it 2-2 after he conceded a penalty. I should have really finished the shot in fairness, but as you'll see here later on in the game, 1 LBY, and it takes 4 players out of the game and my goalkeeper. Absolutely gutted. And this guy just ran off just celebrating, as you do on this game. But thankfully for me, I'm not the sort of person that gives up. I knew I had a bit of time left in the game, and I knew all I needed to really do was get this ball down the line because Berbatov, it's Berbatov at the end of the day, he's my main man. I thought this ball ahead of him, it's a certain goal. It's gone behind him, but Berbatov knocks it in, and we come out of that game with a 3-3 win. Bit of a disappointing start defensively because we conceded 3, but I mean, to score 3 straight away was really good. As we go into the second game here, it's a bit of a mix of a team. It's got Joe Barton in there, Tim Howard. He's got Lewis Holtby, Barbayani. I don't know any of his strikers, I won't lie. But it's the sort of team I expected to absolutely pummel, and I won't lie, I absolutely pummeled him. Now, I'm not even going to talk through the goals. I beat this guy 10-2. It was just epic. Now, we go on to our next person to talk about, is our centre defensive midfielder. Now, he was pretty slow, but he did the trick. Again, he sort of stayed in the positions I wanted him to. He sort of helped covering the defence. Admittedly, he couldn't get in behind to help the defence at all because he just wasn't quick enough. As we come on to this goal, swiftly I'll just cut out talking about him. But what is my goalkeeper doing? I mean, seriously, I've not even called him out. And that's gone. I really wasn't bothered because this guy really was shocking. As you just see, we knocked the ball in the net time and time and time again. That's a great finish as well there. But my centre defensive midfielder was pretty decent. Now onto my two wingers. My left winger, the Aston Villa player, was pretty decent. He had enough pace and he was decent enough passing. The right winger, despite only having, I think it was 57 pace, was actually really good. Obviously, you're not going to bomb past anybody down the line with him, but in terms of him keeping the ball, he was fantastic. Now my cam was a gentleman there, as you just saw him score, called Popov. Popov for me was actually really good. I really enjoyed having him in the cam position because he just gets the ball out of his feet swiftly enough. As you see there, gets the ball out. We score a bit of a tramp goal there to make it 10. But I mean, he gets himself a couple of goals in there. He got himself quite a few assists. I mean, look at the passing in the middle there. I counted earlier, I think it was 90 passes, and I made 87 of them complete. That is absolutely brilliant from a team that I've only played 2 games with. So I can't moan about any of the midfielders at all. In the striking roles, of course, we had Berbatov and Hazarov. Now, Hazarov was a lot better than I expected him to be. He looks a pretty standard card as we go into a third game here. Andre Schürrle up front, a strike on the left wing. Confused out of my mind. But Hazarov and Berbatov together were brilliant. Obviously, Berbatov ran the show. There's no ways about that. Berbatov was obviously the main man. He should have scored that as well. But them two together really clicked, and I got a lot of goals. As you see here, we beat this guy. I think 4 I scored past him. Very lucky there with the bobble in the box, but I mean, he's in the right place at the right time. Berbatov there is unlucky on his weak foot, and it was just time and time again with this team. Despite there being a lack of pace, they still really worked. I was so unlucky with that header, but it comes back to Popov, who knocks it down to my DM, comes back to Popov again, and he knocks it in. So Popov's got at least 4 goals for me in this, and he was really good. One of my centre backs there knocks himself up with a goal, and the route just continues here. Unlucky there from my Torov, my left winger. And after we do an absolute fail offside trap here, this is the sort of player I played against, and he completely messed the tramp goal. I don't mind people doing that, but I mean, you got to score them at least. And then we make it 4 with Dimitar Berbatov again. Berbatov must have scored a ton of goals, at least 10, I reckon, over the 3 games. These are the stats here at the end of the episode. Bulgaria wise, I would recommend their midfield and their attack. The defence was a bit solid. I would never touch that goalkeeper again. I generally don't recall him making a single save for me, which was a bit worrying. But I did enjoy playing with them. Up next will be Costa Rica. If you've got any suggestions to teams after that, or if you've got any suggestions or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. And as always, I'll catch you next time.